In the astrology of January 4th, we have a very important aspect today, which is very overlooked, which is, of course, the moon in an octile with Venus. This octile is 45 degrees and is also known as the semi-square. And the thing about the octile is that it is a preliminary to the upcoming square. That's why it's often called the semi-square. It's the halfway point of the square. So it's a minor challenge in itself, but more than anything, it's information of an upcoming challenge. So what you might be experiencing right now is the call to patience, basically to find patience with areas of your life where things feel like they're taking too long, they're going out of whack. You're following the plan, you're being diligent, you're improving yourself in some way or another, you're working towards your goals, but at the same time things feel like they're taking too long to get there, too long for fruition, too long for evidence that this is worth it. And so it can be really difficult. It's a little aspect, but it can be really difficult to experience that sometimes, especially if you're not feeling enough reward for what you've already put in. And the important thing with this one in particular, this is the Libra moon, as Venus has just recently entered Sagittarius. So this is a Venus Sagittarian side, and so it's really important to find patience with other people, to find patience with our relationship partners, with our closest friends, and also to be patient with ourselves, and to if needed, lean on people a little bit more than maybe we've been doing in the recent past. So for Sagittarius, first of all, this is about being patient with yourself rather than trying to be perfect, or trying to, do everything correctly the first time and to get to the finish line as quickly as you can. To be patient with yourself, to understand this is a process, this is a journey, it's lifelong. Maybe you've got one thing in your entire life that you actually master, and everything else is, just a work in progress. There's nothing wrong with that as long as you're trying, as long as you're putting the effort in there. For Scorpio, it's very important to have patience with financial situations right now, patience with the process, patience, really specifically though, patience with the payoff, patience with the reward systems in your life. It might feel as though things aren't necessarily coming to you karmically that you've put out there, and so it's important to be accepting that this process sometimes doesn't look how it's really going to turn out in the end while it's happening. Sometimes it looks like things are pretty meager and you're not really getting a lot out of life, but things happen in different paces for different reasons. For Libra, this is about patience with communication, and specifically patience with miscommunication. A lot of people are going to be saying a bunch of things that are probably going to rub you the wrong way. It's like people will have their really strong opinions on things, and you have to be patient with the fact that even if you completely disagree with it, that people are entitled to look at things differently than you do, whether it's like a less balanced perspective, or whether maybe they're even right and you need to take some extra time yourself to be patient enough to figure out the right answer, or at least the answer that actually meshes with what you believe. For Virgo, it's very important to be patient with your family right now, to be very patient with those closest to you, the people that are really trying to support you. Maybe there's part of you that wants to put up a wall and almost, say, no, I can do this myself, I need to be independent. And that's a really great philosophy, to have some independence. And at the same time, there's also times where it's important to let people give you support. It means something to them as well, it's not just about what you can accomplish by yourself. For Leo, this is happening in your fifth, and so this is kind of intense in a sense, because you have to be patient with things not necessarily being as exciting as you want. Be patient with like a little bit of boring energy in this path and in this journey, and you're made for fun, you're made for excitement, and so this can be difficult to accept sometimes. But right now is one of those times where you might just have to keep chugging along before things really get to the exciting part. And for Cancer, this is a time to be patient with little mistakes, little things that you want to kind of improve on, but the process of doing so is actually really not that exciting. There's really almost nothing to show for it in the beginning, like maybe the first few months. So it's just like, it can be difficult to keep chugging along without necessarily seeing something come from it. For Gemini, however, this is going to be happening in your seventh. And so there's a great deal of like, patience specifically with your relationship partner, and not to just jump to breakups or jump to, huge arguments because they are not seeing things the same as you. This is an important time to be very patient with other people's feelings, and then to sort of interrogate yourself a little bit and say, am I really being patient with what they're saying, not being what I want them to say, or am I being patient enough to really hear what they're saying? And that can be difficult sometimes. For Taurus, it's important to look at, patience with the way that you're dealing with things, the way that you might not know how to deal with certain traumas and difficulties from life. There might be things that really just kind of overwhelm you right now, and especially emotionally, can be really overwhelming. And it's important to be patient with yourself for not being made of iron and stone. Like, you're a human being. It's okay to get rattled sometimes, or to be sort of thrown off of your heels, which is a very tough thing, because more than anything you want not only stability but emotional stability. And then of course we have Aries, and for Aries right now, this is about patience with the adventure, not actually starting it. And it feels like you have to take extra time sort of like on the wayside, or maybe in the metaphorical hometown, and you've got to wait and wait and wait for the ship to arrive so that you can go and sail off onto your new journey. And this might be happening in your career path. This might be happening in relationships. It might feel like everyone around you is just being so slow that you don't want to wait any longer. You want to hurry up and get to the fun part. And so it's a very natural thing for your sign, not only as a cardinal, but cardinal fire. But it's important to have the patience to wait for people. And then of course you've got Pisces, and for you guys, this is an interesting one, because it's like patience with the fact that the years don't just fly by as quickly as you want them to, but with each and every passing year you get older, like you don't want time to fly any faster, because it already starts to feel like it's flying by. So it's important to understand that these processes are daily processes. They're processes that happen moment by moment, and that we don't want the future and the destination to be rushed, because it would just feel so empty if we just jumped from destination to destination. And then of course for Aquarius, this is about having patience with your friends right now, and patience with the people that you devote your time to, that you devote your life to. The networks that you're moving in, and the people around you who it feels like they aren't necessarily taking your side, or it feels as though they're not only not taking your side, but maybe actively opposing what it is that you're trying to do, or what it is that you think, and you feel like you're kind of like alone in that situation. And so it's important right now to take the necessary time to be patient with that, and to really look at what it is that you're fighting for, what it is that you're thinking about, and whether or not it matches, actual reality, or whether or not it matches what everyone else thinks. And if that's okay, if maybe you're the only person that's fighting for what you're fighting for right now, maybe that process is not going to be fun, but it's important to go on that journey, because that journey was made for you. And then lastly, for Capricorn, this is a time to be patient with the fact that you can't just get over things immediately. You can't just, if you have a really bad breakup, you lose your job, something like that really difficult happens, you can't always just jump right to the part where you feel better. Sometimes you have to allow yourself to go through that process, no matter how much you might not want to. So it's just really important to think about that a little bit. And so for all of us signs, today, it's important to really focus on that virtue of patience, to really allow the present to happen to us, to allow these situations to not only happen externally, but to come forward from our subconscious, and to be greeted openly and warmly by our conscious mind. So I hope that this has helped, and I thank you guys for tuning in today, as always, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.